Okay, we'll call this meeting in order. Roll call. Doug is probably gonna be late, I'm sure. Scott is excused, he's in Sturgis. We need a motion to approve the agenda as published by Doak, seconded by Joe. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay, you all got a copy of the minutes from the June 9th meeting. We did not have a meeting in July. Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
All right, motion by Joe, seconded by Doak. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. I don't see anyone here from the public. Tracy, let's bring you on first.
It's pretty short, so you guys all got the information about the 2021 budget. Do you guys have any questions from the June report that you guys got? I don't think there's really anything for me to point out. The only thing I did want to mention was that in May, we did do our transfer of salary and wages from the EPCA or the 52601 accounts. Came from EPCA and went into the EMPG just to cover those wages and salary. I did not get too far in the 2022 budget proposal. I've been a little busy with the other exercise coming up, but I did start on that and I'll have that ready for our next meeting.
Okay,
So next is review upcoming training and exercises. So yesterday we had our emergency operations center drill. It went very well. We have the evaluated exercise where FEMA comes in coming up on September 14th. 14th. So again, unknown start time or end time. Our office will be just following up on some tweaks that need to get made from the drill and the exercise. The other thing is update on sirens. There's no change in that right now. I know that my beach had sent out letters and I believe that they're waiting to hear from municipalities by the end of August to know what municipalities want to do with the sirens that were in their location.
Tracy, I don't know who sent this. I forget. I read somewhere that it was one of the townships that they thought the county should take it over. Did you say something about that?
Nobody,
There was some correspondence somewhere I read. I don't remember who it was.
so the county does not want to take over ownership of the sirens. From my understanding, there are really no counties in our area that have ownership of the sirens. Out of gaming, I think, I had the right one, did at one point, and that's been turned over to municipalities.
I just, with Dan Kastner, and I saw an email from
Okay,
West Kewaunee.
City of Kewaunee doesn't want anything to do with them. You got that email from
yeah,
me?
yeah.
Yeah,
You
okay.
had told me that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to find out how that does move forward, because with whatever municipalities do not want their sirens, they will be offered up to other municipalities that might want them. And then it'll be that municipality's responsibility to get them taken down, brought them over to wherever the municipality is. And if nobody wants them, then Point Beach will start either later this year or early 2022 on taking down any of the sirens that nobody wants.
Okay.
That is my understanding of what's gonna happen. Clean Sweep 2021, we do have that scheduled for October 30th. Online registration for that will be starting in mid-September. We've been doing the online registration for a number of years with that. That allows us to spread people out between 8 and noon while we're there, so people aren't all, what's that? October 30th. And that will be at the Hillside Highway Shop between 8 and noon.
Yeah, Saturday.
So with that, we are always looking for volunteers to come help. If any of our elected officials would like to help with that, you are more than welcome to. Just let me know so that we can figure out where we're gonna put you. And then we do use your volunteer time as a match, because I have to have so much of a match for the grant for that. The only other thing I wanted to mention is I did send out an email, and I can't remember if you guys all got it. With today being August 11th, FEMA And FCC is doing a national wireless emergency alert notification to all phones, as well as an EAS message going out. It's supposed to be at 2:20 this afternoon. So again, it's nationwide that they are doing.
What is this, the drill?
I don't know what it's gonna say. I think it's just gonna say this is a test. Our offices don't do anything with it. FEMA and FCC are in charge of it. I believe it's gonna say this is just a test. There's nothing to do on your part. So,
Okay. Any questions for Tracy? All right. Next.
We're up. I guess starting with the budget, the two things that I came across in the 2021 budget that you all might be interested in. So, Board of Prisoners revenue is very low. That's because we're still not holding as many people as we were before COVID. Probation and parole is looking at nearly 0.2 as the contributing factor. They're still not holding. Kind of anything to make probation get in trouble after hours, they were for sure. The watch, I thought I would just mention, it's kind of part of the budget. We're now installing our final two watch guard units, which are new video cameras in the squads. So we are gonna have what I feel is the best video camera out there in squad cars. We have bought used ones actually at one time, and that's what we can use. Much better system that we have. It's really help us with, It's a dash cam. It's actually 3 cameras in the car. One is a 180-degree view, so almost at the sides forward. One you can point. It also has a right. Very happy that we've been a couple of years and we're finally to the point where we have the first spot. An interesting thing, our firearms budget is really low because just like the private sector, we can't order ammunition. So what we ended up doing, they're telling us that our orders might be 15 months out. So we're ordering a ton of ammo now for next year, and we're actually thinking this year we're going. It's gonna mess with us. What if they all came this year, right? Then we're gonna have to pay for 2-3 years of that. But we can't not order and hope that the crisis is over with. Maybe it'll come with it. You had ammo orders. What I'm a little bit concerned about is they might all of a sudden make federal 147 grain 9mm and fill our air order. That we really don't want.
You take it when you can get it. Take it when you can get it.
It's starting to come back though, because the food farm is starting to go back up again with the shells and 9mm, all that stuff. What? Do the sport and the
And it's not that big of a budget. The jail maintenance is way over budget. That's, if you all are aware, that's because a jail inspector mandated we fix jail. No, they're not installed yet, but we did get the okay to have our maintenance staff install it. Big cost. So there- the viewing area on our main block is fixed and improved by inspectors. We started. We have a few other things that have to get done for sure. The register covers need to be stuff. Instead of breaking off that. It's so much that. Main warlock. We're at the jail, which we've had problems with forever.
Are you guys gonna do that or is it?
That lock. Stronghold is gonna come in and fix the registers. We were very surprised that they did metro. That's something I think we would have fixed. Yes, and we had the plumber come in and said, you know, the plumbing needs code, so we are looking at.
You can get through with the pipe. You're just something.
I looked at that, but essentially they said there's nothing. In fixing one thing, it's gonna lead to others. So I think our philosophy is we fix the toilets.
So I know that Corey was working with the town about, how do you get a price, if you had sent Corey some, Corey said, a model. So I think that's just, you know, I don't know if we would make it. I'll try to get Corey.
That's all.
Are you scratching your head for 2022 to get that one done?
We're about half done, I would say, with the 22 budget. One of the things I noticed being a new chief deputy in this position is that they want you to plan for all improvements 5 years down the line. And that seems to be a little bit of an issue. We planned for a floor drain of the evidence facility. 5 years later, the cost changes a lot, you know. We planned for, we really needed helmets for our SWAT team and for patrol. We've been having a lot more rifle calls and stuff. And they put it on 5 year, and we just felt we could not wait that long. We ended up like helmets. It works for some things, for some things it's very difficult. Really hard to plan for our server system for our in-house records is full. And last time, when we upgraded the server system, someone called us and said, we're not supporting your current system anymore, you have to switch. And you have until the end of the year. You have 9 months, and you gotta spend $20,000. And we all know that. We're gonna run that server system.
Are you gonna be able to get them?
I think so. We just sent something to,
Well, where we get them from, and they sent back prices on all the different cars, so they're planning on.
Are you going back to cars or are you gonna go back and
We
trade
haven't
up?
talked about it yet, the bid came in literally yesterday.
Oh.
And none of the staff had talked about it, but, and that's just God. God prices, the cars went up $1,000, and now they're making a Durango package, which is, quite a bit more. The Ford SUVs historically, we put less in maintenance in them, but we do the Dodge Chargers. So it justifies putting a little bit more for them.
All right, staffing.
Staffing update, so our jail cook resigned, we had something posted in the paper for, I don't know, now we have got one applicant, two people that are interested in following that question. It seems like a pretty good job to me, it's like 11 hours a week, $15 an hour, and people can really work sort of any hours they want. I mean, form one meal and have one meal ready, and you can do it, and just pick what meals they want. So we can kind of come in different hours of the day, it's extremely flexible. Last time we got by, just like everybody else, I guess. We have been getting by, we have fire still cook. Work, saving a lot of money by doing that. Responsible, rights to work on the as far as our staff in the jail and school, no, not on wood, we're at full staff. It's the first time we've been. Nice place to be. I would love to say we're going to stay there. We are accepting requirements. That's why
Okay, next.
okay, review of overtime by category. Just to look at the sheet, the handout that I have. I know we're slightly above overtime on the budget for patrol, but I guess I would counter with our budget is so tight, we're pretty much get questioned on being over every year. We're right about in line with where we were the last 2 years, very slightly higher. In the beginning of the year, a lot of that came. It kind of brought our numbers up. The other things that we have going on is, you know, training is a little bit higher this year. We're kind of making up for last year. And we have had numerous people go out on different types of FMLA. When somebody goes out, especially when they go out with short notice, they get a knee injury or something like that, that's almost straight overtime because our schedules are pretty tight with people's vacations and stuff that we really don't have extras on most of the time in summer. So when we get a real short notice that somebody has an injury, we're not able to manipulate the schedule and for the short term for sure. Once it gets a week to 2 weeks out, depending on where we are on the schedule, then we're able to schedule much better. Well, a lot of the overtime just as of recently has been on patrol, and that's because we had individual go out on a work-related injury. And that because it's summertime and on weekends, everybody that has vacation is trying to take it. That individual is back now, so we would think it would get a lot better, but we have a different individual on patrol that went out on maternity. In the jail, it's much easier to move people around and cover shifts. One of the big issues there is mostly younger people that don't have that much seniority. Well, we're way at the high end now without very many young people, so we have a lot of individuals at the absolute top end of the station. So all the vacation that they do, when you get a turnover here in the next 2 years. Then more control. One other caveat that we can talk about is investigation. Overdose deaths, my cat.
Jill Sooty. Dude, you're fresh out of that, aren't we? We just had a meeting this morning. And we didn't get everything accomplished that we wanted to yet, but we have a number of questions I think we got answers to, and now we have questions for questions. And it's a work in progress. And we have to do it in order to make a good decision. So did we set a new date yet? Or I left for,
He's still planning on doing the call on Wednesday.
oh, he is?
Yeah.
All right,
He said it may be short, but he thought,
okay,
Venture could give us some guidance as well.
all right.
Don't be. I just was told that all of us would hold my son.
I did, mine automatically turned itself back on.
It did, your battery's gone dead. Okay,
I won't say anything more.
moving forward. update on submissions for coronavirus grant.
So the coronavirus grant so far, we received a couple of the items.
Work. Okay, I got the speaker on now. We received a couple of the items that we had put in for. Many of the items, just like everything else that's going on with Corona, are on back order. We received a couple of air purifiers that were part of the grant and a pressure washer. The pressure washer we aren't able to use yet. We have to run a water line. We knew that. I think Matt and myself will probably run up a water line ourselves. And then we probably got to have electrical outlet put in also in the evidence facility near the large door so that we can wash vehicles outside. That will probably have somebody put in.
If you need one, if you need it in the meantime, come down by us. We just put a new one in.
Okay.
Really nice.
We do have a small one that we actually store at Kewaunee Police Department, and we use it there and we allow them to use it. That's been getting us by, but it'll be a lot nicer to have a heated one in our evidence facility, and it was part of the grant. Now that we have that, it's that much more important that we do try to get that floor drain put into the evidence facility that has been on the 5-year plan, and it did come up this year. But we have to get a new bid on it and stuff. And we did find the contractor that bid on it last time. So he said if we get him the bid back, he'll be able to adjust it without even coming back out and looking at it essentially. The other thing that would be really nice while they're doing work there. So one of the needs we've always had is in an evidence facility, you really should be able to lock a vehicle up, something that's involved in something major one night. It would be nice to have in a separate cage that you could double secure, if you will. Because otherwise, everybody that has access into the evidence facility really has access to that vehicle. And if a lawyer ever pushed it in court, you could have to bring everybody into court to say they didn't mess with it, maybe, right? So we know that this gated area is a need we've had for a long time, and we're going to see if we can get that included with the bid too, so that we could get everything done at once.
Couldn't you utilize that, the old spray booth for that?
Every time we've utilized that booth, the cars mold very quickly. It's real humid in there, and it just doesn't seem very conducive to any type of long-term storage at all.
Mm.
And if you ever had a car damaged, you wouldn't be able to get it in there because it's so tight going around the corner, and the door is just wide enough for a vehicle. So it has a lot of drawbacks there. The best solution would be to just put a chain link fence up inside a small area inside the evidence facility and have a lock on it, a big sliding door. And there's enough room there to do it and everything. And I don't think that's would be a terrible cost to put up this chain link fence to the ceiling. Other than that, with the grant, all our other items are ordered. You know, the watch guard units, it'll be really nice to have. We're out of storage and we're really running into problems already. And now I said we got these new watch guard units for the in-car video system, but we don't have enough storage for it. The grant got us a bunch of extra storage and an automatic download. So once cars pull up to the sheriff's office, it'll recognize that and it'll download their videos. This is something we would have definitely budgeted for. And now because we got it on the grant, we don't have to budget for it. And it's a little bit over $20,000. So that's a really nice upgrade that we're getting. Again, that was one of those things that the storage we thought we were good with, but as you run out, it's something that comes up that, you know, we need more, and planning for that 5 years out would be very difficult. So, but that's something that the grant completely covered. So. Very happy with that coronavirus grant. The other thing that it took pressure off the budget with is buying MDCs, our computers for the squad cars. We were able to get 4 of them through there. So that'll take some pressure off our regular budget. It's a short-term thing, but short-term is better than nothing, right?
We're talking, Jason, about storage.
You're talking about the information that your squad picks up on the camera?
Yes, the
So how
videos.
long do you have to keep that record?
Well, if it's for court, a long time, but we have
But I
a
mean, just your
process for
average
that.
Daily routine.
That's part of what I don't like about video surveillance is there is no guidance from the state on how long you have to keep it. For sure, 90 days you have to keep it. Because there is some statute that just says, you know, any regular records in police work need to be kept 90 days, but there is no guidance from like the Attorney General on how long you should keep body camera or video camera from squads. So right now, we were keeping it for a couple years. Now we're down to 6 months, something like that, because we just don't have the storage to keep it any longer than that.
Yeah.
You run into it's a little bit of a risk reward thing too. If you have enough storage to keep it for 2 years, everybody is usually through court in 2 years. So if you make a DVD for court and that DVD gets corrupted or somehow it doesn't work anymore, you can go back to the original and make a copy of it. You're fine. If somehow that gets corrupted, there are 2 copies and 2 CDs, so you should be okay. But you know, there would be an argument that, well, that's not the original anymore. It's a copy that you know, and if you gave the copy to a defense lawyer, you know, are they going to give it back to you? Probably not. So, you know, our new storage system should be plenty adequate to be able to keep our squad videos, and we're hoping it's adequate to keep body camera videos, because I do think the future, we know the future is body cameras and police work everywhere. And we've started to explore that already. We did put in for a pre-grant to see if we qualify and stuff for body cameras. I don't think, after meeting with a couple of the vendors on video conferences, I don't think we're quite ready for it yet. We have too many questions with storage and release of information that we would like to answer before we jump into the, you know, the business of putting body cameras on officers all the time. There's just so many questions, like what if the press wants, you know, the release of a large scale incident where somebody pulled a knife on an officer the day before? Well, what if there's kids present? What if they go into the house for a period of time? Where do people have an expectation of privacy? What if they're in the backyard? You know, you can certainly think if somebody came into someone's house and there's young children and, you know, an officer's walking from room to room, that's something that most people wouldn't want released to the press, that gets shown on the TV2 news. So because there's no guidance from the state, boy, it's a lot to just jump into. Squad cams is a little bit easier because you might have minors less frequently, but you don't have inside of people's residences for sure. So it's a little less complicated. So that's where that's going.
Okay.
I had one question.
Yeah.
In June, you said the COVID grant was unofficially approved. So it was officially approved, and did you get everything you asked
Yeah,
for?
it was officially approved. We've got, I think, 2 things, the air purifiers and the what did I say? The pressure washer. Everything else is on order and we're having problems kind of getting it.
So nothing got denied.
The
then?
watch guard thing. No, nothing. Everything on it didn't end up getting approved.
Good. Okay. Go ahead to Special Olympics then.
And then every time we have a meeting, I'd like to just highlight something the sheriff's department is doing that out in the community, or something we're doing within. And the one this time is a torch ride. So this year in June, the Special Olympics torch ride was canceled. Usually Kewaunee County has huge participation in that compared to other counties. We raise a lot of funds and we do a bike ride to Stevens Point and then hand out, officers volunteer being out there, and they hand out medals for 2 days straight and stuff to Special Olympians. This year that was canceled for the 2nd year in a row. So what we did at the sheriff's department is we worked with our local Special Olympics and we set up a local in-county torch ride. We went from Blonick Park up in the northern end of the county on the NP Trail, and we went to Bremer Park. We put together food from donations from officers and places that they raised money, and we were able to put on a meal for the Special Olympians in Kewaunee County. They had about 50 people turn out for that.
And then we presented medals that they had, or ribbons and medals that they had won earlier in the year to them. And we had a cornhole tournament where we paired up officers in uniform with Special Olympians, and we had a big tournament. Just a really nice thing. I think the Special Olympians were very happy with it. And so are the officers. There's a lot of pride there that, you know, we did something good for the community.
Okay. Anything else? Any questions for Jason? All right. Travel requests. Tracy's not going anyplace, she says. I see you're going to FBI alert and jail administrators conference.
Yes, the Jail Administrators Conference is something that we do pretty much every year, and we are sending our 2 sergeants, our newest sergeant, Chelsea Broomhall, and Tyler Tuttle, along with Lieutenant Van Aram, or we'd like to. And then the alert training is, what that is a national training for active shooter, essentially. And we do active shooting training in the, I think I've talked about it before, in the county every year, where we combine fire, rescue, and police. And nobody has gone to the alert training since we have set up our current protocol for responding to active shooters. So we are sending 3 of our firearms instructors, and Jamie Klahach is a medic, and he has extensive knowledge on and he's a fireman. So he has fire rescue experience and police experience. So we'd like him to go too, so that the 4 of them and the 2 cities are sending their firearms instructors, because we do active shooting training together, and our response plan is what's the same in the whole county. So they're sending their firearms instructors, and together we would like all of them to look at our current response and see what kind of things they would change, if any, and then probably implement those changes next year. It is out of the area, but that's the closest training they have for alert. And alert really is the standard active shooting response training for the entire United States.
Okay.
That's why we want to send them to that.
All right. Next meeting dates.
Do we need approval for that from the board?
Yeah, but you've got not from the board. I got to sign off on it, and then probably Matt will also have to sign off. You can sign off in his absence, but there's a form you want to fill out. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Doug.
What's the current jail population and how many do we have outside?
I did not bring that with me, so it would be a guess if I gave it to you. Chris would be much better to ask. Would you like that every time?
I would.
I'd just be handy.
Yeah, we always got.
Put it on the back of one of the sheets. Don't cut a bunch of forest down for us,
Put it at
We
the bottom of
can-
the overtime.
Yeah.
We were historically getting that from
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
chief deputy. So it's population here, and well, I guess your daily population includes those that are housed elsewhere though, right?
Yes.
But it's also interesting to see how many we do have.
I'll make sure I
Those
put a
outside.
breakdown of that on in the future.
Okay, our next meeting is the 8th, and then I put down for October 13th for the meeting in October. Is that gonna be good for you guys?
You said October 14th, right?
13th.
That's a Wednesday. That's what I have. And September 8th right now, is that? That's what's scheduled?
September 8th, yeah.
Yep.
And I'll check with Scott on that, because Scott is gonna be he's gotta be here because we're leaving for Tennessee. I'm sorry.
He's the backup.
Yeah. Mhm.
Not attending the-
Yep. And if he doesn't, well, then we'll probably tab you. Okay. Any other questions? Not hearing any other questions. It is 9 bells. I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Doak, seconded by Joel. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Okay, motion carried. You take us off.
My number for representative.